Now there's some other font styles that we can use. We've already seen font size, line height, and font family, but we can set the font style. Here, this style rule sets it to italic, but it can be set to normal, italic, or oblique. Font variant can either be normal or small caps, and font weight can be normal, bold, bolder, lighter, or some number. So lots of different choices there. So these are individual font styles we can set, or we can set the font property and combine them all together into a single property. So here, the property is font, and then we just list the different values. Now we need to do it in the order, and the order matters, and it's this specific order. So it's the font style, then the font variant, and then the font weight, and then this combination is the font size / line height. And so that's that combination. And then the font family, which can be a font stack. So we need to put them in this order. Now, not all of them are required. You can leave some out. The only two that are required are the font size and the font family. So if you just want to do those two, you can, and then you can add in any of the others that you want to add. So we're going to do this on ours, but we're going to do this on the footer part. So if we go down here, we see that there's a footer section inside the body, and we're going to want to add a style to that. And we've got a section here for footer styles. So in here, let's create a style block, and we're going to do this on the address part. But we're going to specifically say that it's the address element that is inside a footer. And we're going to be more specific than that. We're going to say a footer that is a child, a footer that is a child of a body element, and then an address that is a descendant of the footer, right? When you have a space between it, it means descendant. And so this is saying it's an address that's the descendant of a footer that is the child of a body. All right, that's the selector we're going to use. And then we're going to do a few properties. So we're really styling this footer section. So we want to set the background color. And we're going to use RGB for this. And we'll set the red to 222, the green to 128, and the blue to 60. So there's the background color. And we want to set the color to a white with some opacity. So the way we're going to do that is color, and we're going to use RGBA. And to get white, it's 255 of red, 255 of green, and 255 of blue. And then to get the opacity, we're going to do a 0.7. So there's our 0.07 that'll be opacity. Now, in case the current version of the browser that the user's using, sometimes users use older browsers and that don't understand opacity. So in front of here, we'll add just a white. And so how this will work is it'll apply the color white to the text, and then the next one, it'll apply this white with opacity. If it can't do this one, it'll skip this one, and it'll just do this one. So that's a way to make things work for different browser versions. And so if it does do the A, then this style rule will win because it comes later. So it'll override the one that comes before. So there we go. We're adding it white. We're adding opacity if the browser allows it. Okay, now let's do the font part. So we're going to do the font, and the first thing we're going to set is the style, and we want the style to be normal. And then we're going to set the variant. Notice that these are just spaces. There's not commas. It's just the spacing. And the variant that we want is small caps. So we'll do the variant. And then we're going to do the weight, and we want the weight to be bold. And then we're going to do the size. And for the size, we're going to do 0.9 EM. and then the line height, and we'll do 3 EM for the line height. Then for the family, we're going to use a whole family font stack. So I'm going to copy it. We're going to use the same one that includes the quicksand because we hope that's the one that they use. But then we'll list all the others. So we'll put the whole font family there. And that's the end of our font. Now notice how long that is, right? So it has all of those properties. And let's go see how these changes impact our footer. The footer's down here. So we'll refresh. And there we have the footer. It got the background. It has the font applied. It's small caps. So it's applied. It gave us a line height. And that's where we see that how big the line is. And notice what the opacity does, right? That's white on top of that orange. And the opacity lets just a little bit of the orange come through since it's a 0.7 opacity. Notice up here we have white on that orange, but the white is very distinct and there's no orange coming through it. So there's just a little bit of difference when you add the opacity. So in this case, the browser is showing the opacity. And there it added all of those details that we asked when we styled that address in the footer.